Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm Malia Bowman and welcome to the FSL Q&A. Thank you for joining us. We do have some FSC and PFC council members here tonight, and they will get a chance to introduce themselves and talk a little bit more about them and their positions in a little bit. So on our team, we have Haley Montoya. She's the OSI Interim Assistant Director. We also have Anaí, who's our Marketing and Data Intern, and Vince. He is the FSL Student Assistant who focuses on programs. So today we will be talking about our FSL values, our community, our Greek organizations, what it means to be a member responsibilities, and at the very end, we will have some Q&A opportunities for you all. So our FSL values, we focus on friendship, leadership, scholarship, and service. So within friendship, we like to build a community where we can call it our home away from home and really develop lifelong friendships in our community. And we also focus on networking and networking opportunities as well. With leadership, we do have a lot of leadership opportunities in our organization, such as our council members and their roles, and also within individual chapters. There's a lot of opportunity for growth and professional development. And with scholarship, it's our grades, it's our academics, it's time management skills, and all over academic excellence. We provide a lot of resources for our students to be successful, and chapters and chapter leaders also provide a safe space where you can grow academically as well. And with service, we really like to provide an atmosphere that encourages community service within our campus and within our ever-growing Merced community. There are a lot of volunteer opportunities in Merced, and just being in an FSL organization really opens you up to a lot of opportunities that you may not have known before joining. A big part of our FSL chapter's goals is to also raise money for philanthropic organizations or charities and to help specific communities as well, not just in Merced. So you may be asking yourself, what is a Greek organization? Generally, it is a group of people called a brotherhood or sisterhood who are bonded in their organization by specific values. And in these organizations, there's many opportunities to grow in their educational experience where we emphasize intellectual, interpersonal, and social development. In Greek chapters, volunteer, like I talked about in service, all their time and effort within their organization to philanthropic organizations. And at UC Merced, we have 20 fraternities and sororities, and they fall under one of the following councils. So we have the Fraternity and Sorority Council, and we also have the Professional Fraternity Council. And these are their Instagrams if you want to check them out. So going first with our FSC council members, here are the following, and the ones that are here today, I will let them introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with Bella.
All right. Hello, I'm Bella. I am the FSC president. A little bit about me and my position. I basically see the latter half of FSC. So the organizations are part of the branches in terms of multicultural, Panhellenic, and social fraternities. I oversee the FSC general meetings, which take place every Wednesday nights this semester. And these orgs just get a chance to unite with all our council members and talk to each other, and also just give us updates about their organizations. Meanwhile, the council tries to give them as many resources as possible just so they can thrive on campus.
Awesome. And then they're not here tonight, but we have Juan, who's the EVP of fraternities, Avi, who's the EVP of Panhellenic, and Giselle, who's the EVP of cultural sororities, and Daniela, she is VP admin. Since they're not here tonight, I'm going to move along to our next council member.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Harry. I'm the VP of External Affairs for FSC. What my job is to kind of make sure that we foster a sense of community outside of UC Merced, right? That means the larger the larger Merced community. What I try to do is to find service opportunities and professional development opportunities for everyone in the council to kind of get a taste of the world outside of UC Merced. Sometimes a lot of people can think that UC Merced could be a bubble. And, we try to foster these types of opportunities and growth, overall like opportunities, again, for lack of a better term. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I'm also a fourth year psychology major, minoring in sociology.
Thank you. And next we have Yari. You want to take it away?
Yes, so hello everyone, my name is Yaire. I am the VP of Involvement. My role for FSC is to plan out events for our Greek members, also have them participate in events and get to know other Greek members out of their own org and, use that as make them interact with one another and, create a great unity where we are all strong together and, create those long life lasting friendships.
So much. So not here tonight is Kyle. He is VP Academics, and Edwin, he is VP Communications. So which fraternities are governed by FSC? So we have two, you can call them branches, that nationally oversee these organizations, but locally at UC Merced, they're governed by FSC. So we have the Northern American Interfraternity Conference fraternities, and we also have the National Association of Latino Fraternal Organizations fraternities. So in NIC, we have Kappa Sigma, Omega Delta Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Pi Lambda Phi, Pi Kappa Phi, and Sigma Chi. Within NALPHA fraternities, we have Gamma Zeta Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So which sororities are governed by FSC? So just like the fraternities, they have national organizations that govern them, but again, locally, FSC governs these. So we have National Panhellenic Conference NPC sororities. We have Delta Delta Delta, Delta Gamma, Kappa Kappa Gamma, and Phi Mu. We also have NALPHA sororities. We have Lambda Theta Nu Sorority Incorporated and Kappa Delta Chi Sorority Incorporated. And our multicultural sorority is Sigma Theta Psi Multicultural Sorority Incorporated. And now I'd like to introduce our PFC Council, starting with.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So again, thank you for your interest coming into our FSL night tonight. And a second branch of the FSL is our PFC Council. So basically, it's the governing body of our 7 professional fraternities here on campus. And as part of my position, I'm currently the president this year, and it's very similar to what Bella does as well for FSC. I basically moderate and oversee the affairs that we have for our council, as well as moderate all the meetings we have, which is every Mondays at 67 this semester. And I also do represent PFC whenever we have any PFO affiliated university events or any of those sorts.
I can go next. So hi everyone, my name is Iskali. I'm a 4th year psychology major with a minor in Spanish, and I'm the vice president of academics for this year's PFC Council. And part of the responsibilities of my role include promoting on-campus resources and events that relate to academic excellence. I have the opportunity to plan events that relate to academic excellence. Part of those are usually study sessions, and then the other part I have a little bit more freedom. And then I do meet with the PFO VP of academic chairs for each organization.
Hi everyone, my name is Kevin, and I currently serve as the Vice President of Outreach for PFC. So what my position entails is I serve as a liaison for any FSL events. I also co-host socials/mixers for all social or professional organizations to attend. And I also make sure to stay up to date on all events to keep PFC in check.
Thank you so much. So We do not have Jillian here tonight, who's the VP of Recruitment, and also Anayi, who is the VP of Finance. Couldn't make it as well. But thank you all for introducing yourselves. And just like on the FSC side, we have national branch organization that governs these local chapters. So we have the Professional Fraternity Association, and within that, we have Alpha Phi Omega, our service organization here on campus, Alpha Kappa Psi, our business organization, Delta Epsilon Mu, pre-health, Delta Sigma Pi, another business fraternity, Pi Alpha Delta, pre-law, and Phi Delta Epsilon, pre-med, and Theta Tau engineering. So if you're interested on reaching out to these organizations or finding out more and just kind of getting an understanding of their values and their organizations, you can follow them on their Instagram. So this is the Social Fraternities. So our EVP of Fraternity, he runs the UC Merced Fraternities account on Instagram, but all these other ones are ran by the individual chapters. And these are our social sororities. So we have our EVP multicultural sororities. They have their own account that is ran by one of the council members, and same thing with the Pan-Hellenic account. But again, all these individual ones are ran by the local chapters. And then these are our professional fraternities. And now that we know what the organizations are and what is a fraternity or sorority, let's talk about the recruitment. Recruitment is coming up soon. So what exactly is it? During the recruitment season, organizations and their chapters will hold events, particularly for their chapter or organization, where you can go and learn about their values and their pillars and what makes their organization unique and what do they hold near and dear to their heart and what their philanthropy is. You get a sense of who they overall are. And this is a great opportunity for you to go in and see if this organization or chapter is a right fit for you. So take advantage of going to the events and finding your home away from home. So this spring, we have the social fraternities and professional fraternities and Alpha and Pan-Hellenic, they're all kind of split up. They have their own weeks and sessions and recruitment dates and times. So for professional fraternity recruitment, that's going to be February 7th through the 13th. It is going to be in person. We are encouraging them to have hybrid events, and you will need to register for their recruitment by February 11th. For our social fraternities, it's going to be February 14th to February 20th. In person, and we will be encouraging them to have hybrid events as well. You will need to register for their recruitment by February 18th. For NALFO and culture sororities, they will be from February 14th to the 27th. They will also be in person and will be encouraged to have hybrid events. And you'll need to register by February 25th. For our Pan-Hellenic sororities, we will have them doing recruitment from February 17th to February 20th. The 17th through the 18th, that's going to be virtual, with the last 2 days, the 19th and the 20th, in person. And you will need to register for this recruitment by February 11th. So if you're interested in joining an organization, you will have to have earned 12 units as a full-time student in a post-secondary institution after high school. You will have to have a minimum of a 2.5 cumulative GPA, be in good academic standing with UC Merced, and also be enrolled full-time at UC Merced as well. And you can register through this link, but I also have the QR codes on the next slide. So what does recruitment look like overall? These are kind of the basic steps that you'll go through. So you want to register for recruitment. You really need to register before you go through. Otherwise, you'll be asked later. So if you know that you are going to go through with recruitment, just register beforehand. So for all organizations, You can register with the QR code on the left. And if you're interested in Panhellenic recruitment, you can just go straight on and scan that QR code to the right. After you do that, you'll be able to go to all the recruitment events that you want to go to, and you can build a relationship with all of these organizations and really find out who they are and if they're a fit for you. After recruitment is ended, you may potentially accept a bid that is extended to you. And a bid is an official invitation to join an organization. So if you do receive a bid, you might receive more than one, you might just receive one, it depends. But if you do, you can only accept one bid per semester. So if you're really sure that you want to be in an organization, then definitely agree. But if you are not really sure, then that's definitely something to consider and take time for yourself, because you can, once you accept a bid, you can only accept one per semester. And note, you can also decline to accept a bid. So if it's not fit for you, if you decide that you don't want to be an organization, it's just not a good match, you can always decline it. You don't have to feel pressured to say yes. If you do accept your bid and your invitation, this is what you can expect in your new member process. So you will be going to a new member conference, and there will be an introduction about the FSL community, a little similar to what we're doing right now, just a little bit more in depth, and other workshops that develop you as a leader, and you will have networking opportunities and a lot of other trainings. You'll also be attending weekly new member meetings, and that will be with your chapter. It won't be with the entire FSL community. It'll just be with your new member class and that chapter. And you will also only do this for 4 to 8 weeks. That's how long the process is. And in a given semester, where you'll learn the history of the organization that you're in, any values and rituals and traditions that the national and chapter organization has. You also have the big and little pairings, and this is a mentor-mentee situation that you will have throughout your entire life. And the big will help you get through the new member process and help you in any way that they can, and really provide you with resources. And at the very end of your process, you will have an initiation or crossing over ceremony, which will formally get you into the organization. It's just a little ceremony that officially marks your beginning of officially starting in that organization. So to be in an organization, you do have to pay what we call dues. It's like paying club dues, or anything else that you want to do in this organization, you have to pay for it. It's just because national organizations have like fees, and doing any social events or putting on philanthropy weeks, all of that costs money. So you are expected to pay dues. This is a little breakdown of dues that were from before COVID time. So if you are going to recruitment events, make sure to ask what is expected of you as a member and what you will have to pay and those responsibilities. And so we also have a hazing policy. Hazing is not allowed at UC Merced. It is our FSL rules, it is university rules, and is also state of California rules. So during recruitment, you'll want to ask the chapter and the organization specific questions about what is expected of you if you were to be invited to be a new member in this organization, just so you understand what is and isn't going to be expected of you, and if you feel comfortable or not uncomfortable being in this process. Ways that our FSL office ensures your safety in the community and all organizations and all students: we have hazing prevention programming, we have workshops, we have National Hazing Prevention Week, we have hazingprevention.org, we have Fraternity and Sorority Life staff, and we also have care office. So if you have any concerns with hazing, just know that there are resources on campus where you can go to talk about it. Any experience that you have that's either confidential, or if you have any of these concerns, you can always bring it up to our office. So that's it from me. If anybody has any questions, we will go ahead and start the Q&A portion. I just stop sharing my screen so we can just chat. I know that some of our council members have a lot that they would like to share, that they could share, any testimonials about being in an organization or anything that they would want to clarify for our potential new members. I'll just let whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I can go first. So personally, through my process, I feel like, being a member of a fraternity for the last not 9 semesters, 6 semesters or something like that now, I learned a lot, just hearing from all different perspectives. I think one of the most important pieces of information to remember as a potential new member is to see, going through recruitment, what's really right for you, right? And like Malia's mentioned, don't feel pressured to, join an organization because they really want you to, right? Find what's right for you. And that's what we have this week, for you to explore all the different options that you have. And that's something I talked to a lot of people, and they were like, oh, I chose to join your organization because I feel like we vibe a lot, right? Or you guys have a lot to teach me. So I think that's the best part about this learning process. And that's, the best thing for you to do is just explore all the opportunities possible.
So much, Harry. Can we hear from another one of our wonderful council members?
I can connect. So one of the most common questions I remember hearing during the recruitment process was, what is expectations basically for each like PNM during the process? And it really depends on what organization you're trying to do. So FSC and PFC would have different organizations under it, and those different organizations would have different requirements pertaining to, let's say, for example, their time commitment, initiation fees and stuff like that. So when you do go through the process, when you do register, make sure to ask during recruitment what the specific requirements are going to be, just because you want to make sure that before being part of FSL, you're a student first, and making sure that you're not stacking everything and just filling up your plate and kind of falling over things. So just making sure that time management and those things. So make sure you ask.
Does anybody else want to go? Maybe I can ask you all a question. Oh, Haley has a question. What is one piece of advice could you give to someone who is interested in joining but isn't sure if they are ready to join yet?
I can answer this question. So if you're not sure that you want to join yet, I would honestly keep an open mind. I would still just go to the recruitment events. They're all optional. Just keep an open mind, right? I think I would just figure out like your why, and just keep in mind that like Greek life is another branch of opportunity at this campus that it offers, right? So for me personally, like I know going through Greek life, I came because I did not have anyone here. I didn't have a group of friends. And going through recruitment, I was like, let's see, and having, it's like a brand new home, like Malia said, like it is a home away from home. I live in SoCal, so it's 5 hours away. I don't have my family with me. I don't have any hometown friends. And so when I joined, I got exactly that. So like, I would just keep an open mind. You meet different people every time. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you, Bella. Does anybody else want to offer their insight into this? maybe piggybacking off of this question, if you're a member who isn't sure if they're ready to join, what about members who are going through and are having a tough time deciding if an organization is right for them? What advice or insight would you give to that potential new member? Kevin, what advice would you give to a potential new member who doesn't know if an organization is right for them?
I think of one. Honestly, I would just say follow your gut and just see if they vibe with you and like, yeah.
I can actually add to Kevin as well. I remember all of these organizations, you can always find them online. So kind of if you are too shy to talk to someone during recruitment, you can search them up on Instagram or on Google and kind of just look at their ideals and values and purposes and see if it aligns with yours, because you don't want to be part of an organization where you kind of have to change a lot about yourself per se, if that makes sense, because yeah, everything has different requirements, and to just make sure that your values somewhat aligned or align with the organization that you're interested in.
Yeah, to kind of add on to that a little bit as well. That was a really good question. It definitely stumped me a little bit. But I think the best thing, like Kay was saying, talk to someone, right? Or like Kevin was saying, if you feel it, it's right. If it's right, it's right. That's kind of like one of those like little marriage things that you see in the movies, a little cliche, but when it's right, it's right. And another piece of advice that I would give is a lot of people don't really look into the philanthropies that their respective organizations are doing, right? So for example, I believe Delta's philanthropy is St. Jude's Hospital, right? So if you care about kids, right? And if you care about health, that's the way to go, right? And if you vibe with them too, right? If that's not a thing, then it might be a little off. But yeah, just things like that. And I think that after you consider all those factors, you'll make a good decision regardless.
I think I want to add a little bit to this as well. Like knowing the Instagrams and their names and everything, you can, as a potential member, you can go on Google and research all the amazing things that the organization has done. And if what they've done in the past really, really interests you or connects with you in any way, then definitely consider going to their recruitment events and researching further and getting to know them as an organization. But also, like everyone has been saying, if you vibe with them, then that's a pretty, you go where your heart is. I think to add on to that. Another question I want to ask you all is, what is your favorite memory in your organization so far? And how has your organization helped you grow professionally and personally? And maybe those two questions have the same answer.
I can answer this one. So for me, coming into my org, I was really shy. So after having a position with them, it kind of made me grow professionally. Also for me, like growth in communication, because I would always be quiet. I wouldn't say anything. I still lack on that, but I've gotten a little better. But I think I have grown a little bit more professionally, being able to be more organized and, being able to speak up, which is probably something that I did really not do the best, but have grown also professionally and like personally throughout my org.
Yeah, I can also add on to this one. I think my favorite memory would have to be like honestly the entire experience. I think how it's helped me personally and professionally. Like you get to have officer positions, and in my sorority, I think I've had at least 3. So you also have like committees in some organizations too. So you have to learn how to like delegate. You have to learn how to work in a team. There's so many like an organization is so diverse, there's so many different opinions and perspectives, and sometimes you have to come to compromises, and you're going to use those skills in any career that you take with you, right? You also have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to email. You have to learn all these things. You're going to be talking to also older people as well. Like you have your advisors, you have people that work for the school, all those things. Like when you look back at it, like you gain a whole skill set just from being in an organization. You're also presenting too. Whenever you present to your organization, some organizations have a whole 30 to 40 kids in there. So your speaking skills too. And I think looking back at it, it's the entire thing. So yeah, that's what I would say.
You both. Does anybody else want to share their favorite memory in their organization so far? Or
I can go
professional,
ahead.
personal growth? Thank you.
Sorry, I can go ahead and share. So I think one of my favorite memories, it's kind of recurring because we would participate in the service event like every week. But when I was a PNM for my organization, we would go to community gardens every Friday. And the amount of like brothers that would show up and just like put in work, like we planted strawberries, we took out like whole dirt, like a whole dirt thing, a whole box, because we were putting in fresh new soil. We put in a lot of work in general, and it was like every week, and it was just so amazing to see how passionate everyone was about putting in the work. And I think my favorite day was the day we got to like eat some of the like vegetables that we had planted, and then aside from trying them out, we got to donate them to a local food shelter. And that was really impactful for me because it made me like see, and it made me realize how like passionate everyone was, and it made me realize that like I had found a home and I had found people who shared the same values as me. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to share? Okay, so some other questions that I do want to address is that going back to our bids and recruitment just in general, well, I did say that you can only accept 1 bid a semester. That is true. So say you're going in recruitment this spring and you happen to accept a bid, you can go through, say you're going through a social fraternity or sorority recruitment and you accept a bid. In the fall, then you could go through for professional fraternity recruitment, so the PFC side, and go through recruitment and potentially accept a bid there. Or you could do it vice versa if you're going through professional this semester and then social fraternity or sorority next semester. So it depends on you, your personal preference, but the rule is you just can't accept more than 1 bid in 1 semester. But you can be a part of multiple organizations. So we have a couple of those cases in this Zoom meeting as well, if anybody wants to talk about their experience in being both a part of a social organization and a professional.
Yeah. Wait, so what was the question? Or like, what was my overall experience?
Yeah, just kind of talking about being in both organizations and your experience and maybe some of the challenges or the lessons that you've learned from balancing both and being a part of both of those 2 different worlds, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay. So being a part of both, you definitely get to meet a wider range of people. I know I first went through sorority, so Panalytic, and I found my group of people, right? And then I started thinking about joining a professional. Professionals, although I did hold officer positions there, I did end up joining a professional because I was like, okay, I'm starting to think about my career. I'm the type of person to like need to be really prepared even outside of school. And yeah, the social like gave me that skill set, I wanted another like skill set. So like in professional, you have like resume building, networking, fixing your LinkedIn. There's so many things that go with professional. So I think it was just, I mean, in terms of challenges, you do have chapters for both. But I mean, it was the time that I wanted to commit to the organizations. I love both. I love the people in both. So I don't think I would trade it for the world. You have a Google Calendar and you make the time to come to those events, and some events you can't and some events you can. But yeah.
Awesome, thanks. Anybody else want to add on to what Bella said? Okay, awesome. So I know Bella and we've all talked about our experiences and everything that we've done with our organization and those key moments. Does anybody want to talk about maybe some key events that PFC and FSC has with our chapters on campus that really brings in resources and fun and livelihood into our organization's lives? I know we have our main ones are our Greek week. Does anybody want to talk about that?
What was the question again?
Just talking about our overall FSL events and key moments that we have every year. So the key things that PFC and FSC puts together for our chapters.
So yeah, our Greek week is a week long of events to help chapters to come along and participate in these events, also, interact with one another. So we are gonna have our Greek week this semester in March, where all orgs are invited to come out. Social fraternities, social sororities, and then PFC, also multicultural sorority. So it's for every Greek members to come out and participate. It's not just only a certain, social sororities or fraternities. For everyone. PFC is also invited. They are able to participate in these events. So it's a lot of all of our actual fraternities and sororities all together in this week, Greek week.
Yeah, and I can add on to that. I think this semester, we definitely want to have like a little healthy competition going. So we're kind of doing like a Greek week / like Greek Olympics. So that's like something to look forward to. Different organizations will be in one team. So I think working together with people that you usually don't see at chapter, in other organizations, I think that's something really exciting and fun, especially if there's like a prize at the end. And I'm super excited to see all our organizations talking to each other and working together and getting to know each other.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So that's a little taste of what we have in store for the semester and things that we're doing to actively promote Greek unity on our campus. It's been really difficult for our organizations and pretty much everybody over this pandemic, decade, it feels like. So getting back to campus and really connecting with each other is of the utmost importance to us, I think, this semester, just getting everybody connected and building those friendships. So I want to bring it back to recruitment again, just because I know we have some lingering questions. So I want to address some of these questions, like, do you have to live in a fraternity or sorority house? Is that even available at UCM? So just to address that, we do not have official like frat or sorority row, as it's called. We don't have official fraternity and sorority houses. So if you do join an organization, you are not expected to live with brothers or sisters. While a lot of our organization members do live all together, it's just because they love each other and they want to live together and be in a house, but it's not in an official organization capacity. I also want to talk about if you can't attend all days of recruitment, that's okay. Just communicate that to the chapters that you are going to recruitment events for. So, say if I was going to Alpha Phi Omega's fraternity recruitment and say, all week long, I could only go to 2 of their events. Well, if I was really interested in being a member of the organization, I'd want to communicate to any of the active members just to let them know. And so they don't think I'm disinterested in that organization. It's just because I'm a student and, I'm working or, whatever it is. So if you're going through recruitment and you can't make all days, just communicate that to the appropriate parties involved and you should be fine. I also want to talk about how Greek life is different here at UC Merced than other campuses, because it's all over social media, people joining different organizations and how it works. But at UC Merced, it's very different. Like I already talked about the different recruitment dates and the deadlines for registration, but maybe our council members can go in a little bit more depth about what that looks like when you're in it. So if anybody wants to talk about basically how recruitment works.
I can start for this one. So basically for recruitment, we do have the processes, starting with the first, just the organizations in general have different weeks of when recruitment comes. So for example, like professionals go on a different week, and then socials go on a different week, for example. And once you do get a bid in an organization that you were interested in, you do have different processes. For example, some organizations might have a 4-week process, some might have 8 weeks, or some might have shorter than that. And also there are some rules and expectations that are in the FSL that all organizations abide to. Some of them would be like the dry period, for example, would be for a recruitment that everybody follows that is adhering to the FSL rules. I can't think anything else on top of my head for other ones. But yeah, that's an example for one of the recruitment rules that we do follow.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have anything to add on to that? Oh, that's okay. Also, during recruitment, if you're a potential new member and you're interested, you can always ask questions. There's going to be, I'm sure, a ton of questions that you're going to have for the chapters, but don't think that you're being overbearing or putting too much burden on somebody for asking questions. That's literally what recruitment is all about, answering your questions, getting to know people. So, if you want to, come prepared, come with a list of questions if you want to. The better prepared you are, then it'll make it easier, hopefully make it easier coming to an informed decision about how you feel about an organization. A question that I do want to ask you all, since you're so active in our community and are doing just the most all the time, you're so great just being council members. I do want to ask you about your time commitment being on the council, and also the time commitment for chapter members who don't have a position or maybe just have a position in their organization. So the question is, what is the time commitment to be in an FSL organization?
Yeah, I can kind of contribute to this conversation. As we know, like I think Malia mentioned that there's, as a potential new member, you have weekly meetings, right? To be educated on, whatever it is that your organization wants you to be knowledgeable of, right? And as an active member, that kind of stays the same, except it's not called like a potential new member workshop or whatever it may be. It's called a chapter, right? What chapters mean is like, you spend 2 or 3 hours, right, discussing chapter businesses. So what do you do? What are you doing next week, right? What's upcoming? What's the events that you need to do? Budgeting, etc. All the business, right? And if you do hold a chair, right, that's an extra 2 or 3 hours every week. You know, you have to have chair meetings, etc., planning events, all that good stuff. And on top of that, you should spend at least an hour or two at least to kind of figure out, you know, what are some of the ways that I can bring in more, let's say, publicity if you're public relations, right? Just kind of working on your chair, right? Whatever it is that you can improve on. So I guess to put it simply, the short answer is like maybe every chapter is different, but 2 to 6 hours every week's dependent on how your schedule is and what you want to do with your position or, you know, stuff like that. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to add on to this? What the, you know, maybe their experience with time commitment has been?
I can go ahead. I know a lot of people, at least when I was a PNM for my org, they like to say that being a PNM was like adding another 4-unit course. I'm not sure if it's like 4-unit, but it's kind of like taking another class because you have your weekly meetings and then you have quizzes and you have to study for those. So it's definitely not like, at least in my experience, it wasn't something breezy and easy. Like I had to put in some time and some work into it. But something that we like to say in our org is that you get as much out of it as you put in. So if you're putting a lot of time into your organization, if you run for an officer position, if you're helping plan events or host workshops or any of that, it's definitely a lot more time consuming, but you feel the reward in the end. You get to learn how to do all of these things and you get to you know, teach others. And at least that's for me, that's pretty rewarding. But it's definitely not easy breezy, especially in the beginning. I feel like once you're an active brother, it's definitely not the whole scary PNM process. But that's something to keep in mind too, because we are students. So.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to add on to like part of the time commitment is the type of events that like each organization hosts, and like they're all different. I think there's a lot of internal events where you have like whether it be like sister or brother bonding, you have mixers with other organizations internally. They have like retreats, they have banquets, they have things that FSL puts out. Also, tabling is part of commitment, like the commitment, like Carrie said, like the publicity. But those are some like events that you can expect from your organization.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of that feedback to give to each other and all the insight into organizations. Does anybody have any last minute, maybe tips, tricks, advice that you would want to give to PNMs for recruitment, or if they do accept a bid, any tips, tricks, and advice for them being an active member?
All I would say is that if you're nervous, like they are just as nervous as you are. So relax whenever you're having a conversation. It's just a friend, you're getting to know them. But yeah, just keep an open mind.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think everybody did a really great job of being very specific and talking about their experience and rules and requirements and all of that. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to do this. I know it's nearing the end, so I just want to wrap it up and say thank you so much. So that concludes the FSL Q&A. Thank you, everyone.